So the big, question that we always have is, can we eat meat, chicken, of non-Muslims and things like that. So let me take the time to offer some background, to this question. What is the burden? What is the Sharia burden for food to be halal? Because Allah Ta'ala in the Quran tells us that our food has to be permissible, has to be lawful, halal. For chicken and meat, the animals that we consume, the poultry that we consume, it needs to be slaughtered. And the word that the Quran uses is that dhaka, to be slaughtered. Now, in the family of the Sunni schools of law, there's a difference of opinion whether the tasmiyah, whether the Bismillah or Allahu Akbar has to be stated before the slaughtering happens. The Ahnaf, for example, they say that it's a condition. Some of the Malikis say that, some of the Malikis say no, and the Shafi'is say no, that's just the Sunnah. Now the question is, what do we do when we have this difference of opinion? Within the valid difference of opinion. And one of the principles that we learned when we studied is that when we have an issue in which there's a difference of opinion, we are allowed to follow that opinion that allows the easier of the options. And because this forum and these videos are meant for a wide audience, this is the position that we take. Now, for example, if you don't want to follow this position and you want to be a strict Hanafi, that's your prerogative. But this is a venue and a mode of communication for everybody. So let us take the Shafi'i opinion, for example, that all that is required for the meat and the chicken to be halal is that it simply be slaughtered, the blood is drained, etc. That the tasmiyah then becomes a sunnah. And that is why, for example, we could eat kosher food. Because the conditions for kosher actually are more conditions than the conditions for halal, but Orthodox Jews, they slaughter the animals in the same way that we slaughter the animals. So if the animal is slaughtered, if it is certified halal, if it is certified kosher, it is permissible for us to eat it. Now, what happens about meat that's sort of just out there, supermarkets and things like that? There is a weak opinion, and it's very, very, very weak. That has been offered by some within the Maliki school, that as long as a Christian or a Jew eats such meat or chicken, then that would make it halal for us. Now, the reason I caution against this opinion is that one of the things that the Prophet ﷺ taught us about eating halal is that eating halal affects our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أطب مطعمك تكون مستجاب الدعاء. Eat halal and your prayers will be answered, your dua will be answered by Allah. And because food and what we consume we are what we eat essentially, and it's a fundamental part of being human, I really caution against this opinion. And for those of you that are listening, I'm making a lot of assumptions that you have access to kosher food or halal food, Muslim communities, and it's pretty easy. I mean, if we make the effort, a little bit of effort, we should be able to find these options. If not, my advice would be, eat fish. It's going to be healthy anyway. We eat too much meat and too much chicken as it is. But I would try to follow the dominant opinion. But if this is, if you're like studying abroad and you're all by yourself for a limited period of time, and mama didn't teach you how to cook, and you're sort of out there on your own, and you have no other option, there is that opinion that you can hold on to. And when we have differences of opinion, we are allowed to follow the opinion that meets our immediate needs without criticism from the others. But, and let me just repeat, because of the sensitivity of food and its relationship, in our relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spiritually, we should always try to make sure that our food is halal in the ways that I have mentioned. Wallahu a'lam.